Women's fashions are more than fabric, lace, and ribbons. In the clothing women wore and in the stories of their owners, we can trace the patterns of their culture, including how society viewed women and, in turn, how they viewed themselves. If you listen closely, the fabrics, lace, and ribbons can speak to you. This series explores the clothing and textile collection from Grinnell Historical Museum, a small museum located in Grinnell, Iowa. Stella Shook was born in 1878 on a farm near Montezuma, Iowa. Her obituary notes that her parents immigrated to Iowa in a covered wagon. She married Charles Farmer in 1896 when she was 18 years old. She and Charles had 5 children, and it's likely that she wore this maternity dress during several of her pregnancies. Like most clothing of hard-working farmers, it has been worn, washed, and ironed many times. If you look closely, you will see that it has been mended as well. Notice how carefully she matched the pattern in the fabric. This is a one-piece dress made of blue cotton striped fabric with a muslin lining in the bodice. It is made to be pulled over the head and is gathered at the yoke, which is buttoned in front. The skirt is gathered in the back with narrow fabric ties attached at the side seams, so it could be tied in the front or the back. You may notice how long this dress is. Stella must have been a very tall woman. Since this is a maternity dress, let's say a few words about being pregnant in Victorian times. Maternity clothing during the 1800s and the first part of the 1900s looks very different from maternity clothing today, doesn't it? That has to do with the way Victorian society viewed pregnancy, which was basically to hide the fact that a woman was pregnant, although many women spent much of their lives in that condition. The topic was off limits and avoided in polite conversation. One explanation for this is that Victorian society depicted the perfect woman as pure, meek, and virtuous, even when she was married. A pregnant woman was expected to hide her condition from the public eye to avoid any discomfort for others. In fact, the last 2 or 3 months of a woman's pregnancy were referred to as her, quote, confinement, and during that time, she generally confined herself to her home and out of the public eye as much as possible. For a farm wife, it wasn't too difficult to be out of the public eye, since rural living meant a more isolated lifestyle. But farm life also meant many chores to do, regardless of the state of one's pregnancy. Animals had to be fed, eggs gathered, clothing washed and ironed, meals cooked, and food preserved for the winter. There was no time to be, quote, confined. Stella Farmer did her part on their farm, and no doubt there were many days that she was wearing this dress while she did it. It's actually rare for someone to have saved a maternity dress, since pregnancy was rarely acknowledged for posterity. This dress would not have been considered special. But for some reason, someone did save it and donated it to the museum. Perhaps they looked beyond the faded blue cotton and saw the story of an ordinary woman and the loyalty, hard work, and dignity of the life she led as a farm wife and mother.